Hello, my name is Alex Kinji, and I live here in Los Angeles. And I recently graduated from a junior college in Switzerland. And right after that, my graduation, I went to India for the 21-day process with my brother. That whole experience was very subtle in the sense that I was expecting more physical experiences to happen in terms of my body changing or other people around me changing in an extreme way. But what ended up really happening was the subtle changes in my ability to deal with people or my ability to deal with situations that went on. So that was the real basis of what happened in India for me. Out of nowhere, this kind of idea of starting my own business came up, which was very strange for me because I'm definitely not the type of person that people would usually see running their own business. Myself, I don't like to make decisions a lot. I don't like to be the leader of certain things. I mean, of most things. I like to kind of just follow, do what I'm told, and things like that. But this kind of inspiration to start my own clothing line came up, and the creativity aspect of it came up, and it was just very strange because I had never had any urge like that before. So that really triggered certain things within me that were able to clear and allow me to move on with this process of starting my clothing company, which was great.
Hi, my name is Dorian Kinji, and I'm a filmmaker. I work in the industry of making things that go on the screen, acting and stunts. There's a part of me that changed, or I acknowledged that changed or shifted when I came back to America after the 21-day process. It really allowed me to be myself, which is kind of interesting. In the period of my life where I felt like I had to be cool, I put on a front. There was this part of me, and then I realized I started selling myself out to my so-called friends at the time, and I felt like I had to hang out with people to be cool, because if you were at home, you were like, the not cool kid, or you were the nerd if you were on the computer or something like that. So when I came back, I realized how much I liked being by myself. And I really enjoyed, even if it was just watching TV by myself or just, eating or cooking or, just going surfing or something that was just a quieter space for me. I started feeling okay with that, which was huge. It was so great. It was a beautiful thing of allowing me to really be how I wanted to be in the moment. It really allowed me to just find my base, my center, to just be in touch with what it's like to be calm, with yourself, and just be quiet without having to find something to do. And in doing nothing, that is also doing something. It's kind of how they relate to it. It really affected me in the way of speaking with Bhagavan specifically. I had a chance to meet with him and kind of pick his brain a little bit and ask him questions about himself. And then he said, towards the end of our conversation, said, "Okay, you can ask me." And I'm like, what am I supposed to ask you? And he said, "Well, you can ask me for something if you want help with, something in your life." And I felt that was very selfish of me to, want to go there to ask him. I mean, I feel like I'm already getting so much from, the process and, quieting down the mind and just being able to experience the new way of being, I felt was enough, and so I almost felt guilty. And he's like, "No," he's like, "it's a part of the process, and, you can't really help someone else unless you've experienced as much as you can on your own in the negative and the positive ways of life without, actually doing it." So I was like, okay, well, I work in the industry, and movies are very inconsistent. Sometimes you work a lot or you work a little. And at that time, I was kind of working off and on about once every 2 months or something like that. So then, you make enough to barely get by, but it's just you got to be really, frugal in the time that you're not working. So after that point, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to ask help for my movie career from a guy in an ashram in India. Okay, you can help me out. Okay, cool. So I was like, can you help me with my movie career? And he's like, it's done. And I'm like, what's done? It's done. Okay, thank you. I'm just kind of thinking it like, all right, this guy said he helped me out. I'm like, cool. So not really taking it too seriously in a way of like, assuming anything was going to be done unless he calls like Hollywood and he's like, hey, make this guy work. I was like, I don't know how it's going to work out. I go home after the 21 days and I check my phone because I didn't check it, since I was gone. One of the messages was about a job that was on a big movie, and it was a substantial little part for the type of stuff that I normally do. And it was like a 6-week deal, going to like 2 or 3 different states and like on location. And I was like, wow, that's cool. But I was gone for 21 days, so maybe it just could have been one of those jobs. So it didn't, kind of took it with a grain of salt. Like, yeah, maybe coincidence, something like that. I come home after the 6-week project, and then I sit at home for about a week, and without actually going out trying to find work, I get another call. And they say, hey, my older brother was doing a movie, and he's like, hey, I want you to come down and help me, stunt coordinate this movie down here. It's a low-budget feature in Alabama for a month. And I was like, oh, cool, I'm totally up for it. We get down there, and lo and behold, one of the actors backs out. And then they knew I had an acting background, asked me to audition for the part, and I ended up being one of the leads in this movie, which was so awesome. And I was just like random, beyond belief. So that was another blessing. And I was kind of like, yeah, okay, but I'm from LA. I'm very skeptical. I don't really believe in all this like mumbo jumbo sort of. So then after that was done, came home. I kid you not, one more time. It was another week. I get called to go to an audition from a friend of a friend kind of thing, and then they call me back the same day, and they're like, yeah, do you want to go to Costa Rica for 3.5 weeks and work on this movie? And I'm like, okay, fine. Thank you, Bhagavan. I believe it now. So it's this huge transformation of actually consistently working and, being grateful for that opportunity. And then after that, I came back and waited another week, and now I'm working on another film up in Canada for about 3 to 4 months. So it's amazing in terms of that, experiencing, how, he can help you specifically, but also how being open to opportunities and, the fruits of life, you can actually obtain them if you're open to it. So it helped me out a lot.